Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. We ask that you please find your seats as quickly as possible so that everyone is seated when the ceremony begins. Please turn off all cellular phones and electronic devices at this time. Again, we ask that later in the ceremony you please remain seated when the graduates come forward. We will have photographers in place to take each and every graduate's picture. Thank you for your understanding. We'd also like to ask you that after the graduates return to their seats, everyone in the audience remain in their seats until the ceremony is over. Again, please find your seats quickly. The ceremony will start in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of the members of the Board of Governors, our faculty, staff, and graduates, it's my privilege to welcome you to Marshall University's 173rd Spring Commencement Ceremony. Please rise for the singing of the National Anthem by Justin M. Wiggett, bachelor's degree candidate, and then please remain standing for the invocation, which will be delivered by Dr. Stan Maynard, Professor of Education.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, our graduates are celebrating this final day of one phase of their lives and the first day of their promise and their future. Give them wisdom to understand that a kiss may not be love, a promise may not be forever, change is not bad, challenges are not barriers, failures are not final. Events do not have to define their lives. Father, help them to know that their lives will never be the same because they have experienced an educational journey that started in anticipation and has come to this day where we say we are hopeful, we are prepared, we are ready to take on life's challenges because we are a band of brothers and sisters forever bound to the fabric of a special place that has a name, and that name is Marshall University. Thank you for this place, and thank you for our future. Father, hold us in the hollow of your hand and give us your grace. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Dr. Maynard. The Board of Governors is the governing authority for Marshall University. The public charter undergirding the role of the Marshall University Board of Governors is to hold this institution of higher learning in trust for the public and in the public interest. As such, the Board is entrusted with the final authority for decisions involving and including fiduciary, capital project, and governance matters affecting Marshall University. Appointed by the Governor of the great state of West Virginia, the members of the Marshall University Board of Governors are Verna K. Gibson, Chairman, John G. Hess, Vice Chairman, Michael G. Sellards, Secretary, Gary Adkins, Letitia Neese Chafin, Michael J. Farrell, Edward Howard, Dale Lowther, Brent Marsteller, General Harley F. Mooney, Jr., Robert L. Schell, Jr., Dr. Joseph Tuma, Gary G. White, Larry Stickler, Faculty Representative, Mike Dunn, Staff Representative, and Matt James, Student Representative. Will the board members in attendance here today please rise and be recognized? Also with us today are some very special guests. We are pleased to have members of our commencement speaker's family with us, Mrs. Nora Calebs, his mother, and his brother Chris Calebs. Would they please rise and be recognized? Also with us today is my dear wife, the First Lady of Marshall University, Jane Kopp. Jane? We truly thank all of you for joining us here today to honor and celebrate our newest graduates. The members of the platform party seated behind me will be performing specific roles as part of this ceremony and will be introduced as we proceed and in conjunction with their respective role in the program. Before proceeding to our most important duty here today, which is the conferring of degrees, I will take just a few minutes to introduce some very special graduates. Their stories are engaging testimonies of personal triumph, perseverance, and dedication, often despite great odds. Will Chris Tucker please stand? College was not always on the horizon for Chris, but with support from Marshall's Autism Training Center college program for students with Asperger's syndrome, he not only succeeded in college, he thrived. Today, he is realizing his dream of earning his college degree. Although he had become an accomplished musician, Chris faced many challenges associated with navigating the college experience. With the support of his family and his determination to earn his college degree, Chris completed his bachelor's degree and achieved a minor in music with a concentration in piano. Chris has composed a number of musical pieces, some of which will be performed in a recital during this commencement weekend. After graduating, he will return to the Washington area, where he plans to apply his liberal and fine arts background to land a job working in the arts or for the federal government. Chris's success is a testament to others that you should never let anything limit you or keep you from realizing your dreams. With the right support, everything is possible. Today, supported by his parents, Mike and Jerry Tucker of Springfield, Virginia, and several other family members, Chris becomes the 6th student in the college program for students with Asperger's syndrome to graduate from Marshall University since the program began in 2002. To Chris and your family, congratulations on this outstanding achievement. Mark Upton, would you please stand? By graduating today with his Bachelor of Science in Engineering degree, Mark Upton of Ballard, West Virginia, is bridging a generation gap. 2 of Mark's uncles completed engineering degrees at Marshall before the state's decision to discontinue the program in 1972. One uncle was Paul Deeds Upton, who earned his engineering degree from Marshall in 1969, and his other uncle, Calvin Dean Upton, who graduated in 1973. So with Mark's graduation, the Upton family has bridged a 37-year gap in the Marshall Engineering program by having a family member in one of the last classes to graduate from the previous engineering program, and now Mark Upton, who is a member of one of the first groups of students to complete the BSc degree since it was reintroduced at Marshall 4 years ago. A few students completed the BSc in May and December, but Mark's class is the first scheduled graduating class 4 years following the inception of this program. Also, Mark's current GPA is a perfect 4.0, a difficult accomplishment in any academic program, but particularly impressive in this very demanding engineering curriculum. Congratulations, Mark. Your outstanding accomplishment is an affirmation that engineering is truly back and very vibrant here at Marshall University. Congratulations. Rhonda Mullins is here with us today. Rhonda, would you please stand? We are especially proud today of Rhonda, who works as an assistant to the Chief of Staff at Marshall University. She is from Gilbert, West Virginia, nearly 2 decades after beginning her college education at a community and technical college in southern West Virginia. Today, Rhonda will graduate with her Regents Bachelor of Arts degree from Marshall, and she is graduating with high honors. She is the first in her family to earn a college degree. Rhonda has persevered and pursued her degree on a part-time basis while working full-time at Marshall. In many ways, Rhonda's story of determination and persistence is one shared by many of our graduates. She is proof positive that it's never too late to finish what you started. Sometimes it just takes a bit longer than expected. Congratulations, Rhonda. We're very proud of you. DJ Wingate is with us today. DJ, would you please stand and rise? Thank you. On this Mother's Day weekend, DJ not only is celebrating the earning of his undergraduate degree, but the life of his late mother, Velma Smart. In December 2008, DJ lost his mom to breast cancer. She was just 40 years old when she passed away. The disease, as DJ put it, came out of nowhere. We fought it, it went away, and it came back real bad. DJ, an only child, had lost his very best friend. After all, she was only 20 years old when DJ was born, and he said, "We grew up together." Velma was a great supporter of DJ and Marshall University, often emphasizing the importance of education. Velma would be very proud today knowing that her son has earned his bachelor's degree in business marketing in just 3.5 years. And next, if the NFL doesn't work out, DJ plans to pursue his master's degree. He says he remembers every single day what his mom taught him and guarantees that she is watching with pride as he graduates from Marshall. Knowing her emphasis on education, DJ is certain today means more to her than any of his other accomplishments. I wouldn't be the man I am today, nowhere near, if it hadn't been for my mom, he says. Happy Mother's Day, Velma, and God bless you, DJ. Will Whitney Hunter please stand? Whitney is here today having earned her bachelor's degree in public relations. While commencement is a time of celebration for Whitney, she finds herself sharing the joy from afar with her husband, Corporal James Hunter. Corporal Hunter, who serves in the U.S. Army Bravo Company, 4th Brigade, 2nd Infantry Division, is deployed for a second tour in Iraq, protecting the freedom that allows us to assemble here today. Corporal Hunter is watching our commencement on the internet and can see Whitney as we speak. Marshall University is proud of Whitney for graduating in 4 years while supporting her husband, whom she married in May 2009. We are equally proud of James, who will return to Tacoma, Washington in August and remain there along with Whitney until November. The couple then will return to West Virginia, where James plans to attend Marshall University, double majoring in business marketing and finance. Whitney and James have come a long way since they first met in kindergarten. Now they are each other's strength and support, even though temporarily separated by thousands of miles. As Whitney has said, deployment is absolutely one of the toughest experiences a married couple can experience. Sometimes you feel like you can't make it through another day without your spouse, but every day, through the ups and downs, is worth it. I wouldn't trade 1 minute of our crazy life for anything. Whitney, you have endured and excelled through 4 years of college here at Marshall, and in just a few months, James will be home for good. God bless you both, and congratulations. Chubb Small is with us today. Chubb, would you please stand? You only lose when you give up, but I never gave up. So said Chubb Small. That statement defines Chubb in the essence of his approach to life. Today, he is graduating with his second degree from Marshall University, a master's degree in adult and technical education. If his name sounds familiar, it's probably because you know him as a stalwart running back for Marshall's Thundering Herd for 4 years. He gained more than 1,200 yards and scored 10 touchdowns before earning his first degree in 2008, a bachelor's degree in sports management and marketing. But his story is not about football. It's about survival and success, and now an auspicious future. When he was just a youngster growing up in Florida, Chubb at times found himself abandoned. He was left home alone for weeks at a time and with no electricity, no water, and no food. Imagine, 12 years old and living alone. Forced to move whenever and wherever just to survive, Chubb estimates he attended 13 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 3 high schools, and lived in 4 cities before he turned 18. Despite the turmoil in his young life, Chubb always had hope, and he had help from many people who saw his potential, his determination, and his sincerity. He also had football, which eventually led him to Marshall University. However, it is highly unlikely he would have ever come to Marshall, let alone earn 2 degrees here, had it not been for George and Cindy Hummel, whom he now refers to as his mom and pops. Chubb met Cindy in Auburndale, Florida, when he was looking for a job during high school. He told Cindy, who was Auburndale's Parks and Recreation Director, that he needed to buy all of his personal items and pay bills because his mother couldn't take care of him. Cindy was impressed with Chubb's sincerity. From there, she and George, a former football coach who had taught a class Chubb attended in 9th grade, grew so close to Chubb that they eventually informally adopted him and welcomed him into their family. They accompanied Chubb on his recruiting trips to 3 different universities, including Marshall. Choosing Marshall, as it turns out, was one big coincidence. Not wanting to influence his decision, the Hummels didn't even tell Chubb that George had played football at Marshall in the 1960s and that Cindy had lived in Huntington for 2 years. Chubb has described Marshall as heaven and the Hummels as the angels that were made just for me. The Hummels are here today to see Chubb graduate. I would like to ask them to please stand at this time. George and Cindy, I know you're very proud of Chubb, as are we. What's next for Chubb? No surprise. He'd like to run an after-school program for children. Thank you, Chubb, and God bless you, and Godspeed. These accounts are but a sampling of the many compelling stories involving our graduates. Time will not permit us to recount them all, but I can assure you that each graduate has a story or stories to tell that are both fascinating and inspiring. At this time, I am very pleased to present Mr. Gary White, member and past chairman of the Board of Governors. He will bring greetings from the board.
Thank you, Dr. Kopp, and good morning. On behalf of the Board of Governors of Marshall University, we bring greetings and congratulations. In my term as a member of the Board of Governors of Marshall University, the change in this campus the change in the academic programs, and the excellence that has been brought to the Marshall University campus is outstanding. As a Board of Governors, we are committed to providing an educational program and facilities that make the college experience that you as graduates today will cherish the rest of your life. Dr. Kopp has made several very significant and important introductions this morning. I have the privilege of making yet another. Each graduation ceremony, we make it a point because of the constituency that is served by Marshall University to recognize those graduates who are the first member of their family to graduate higher education. Would all those in the graduating class who are the first in your family to graduate from higher education please stand? Once again, on behalf of the Board of Governors of Marshall University, we say congratulations to the graduates and to the families, and we thank you for the opportunity to serve you in this capacity. Good morning.
Thank you, Gary. This commencement concludes an era of exceptional service to Marshall University by Mr. White, most recently as a valued member of Marshall's Board of Governors. Gary, I cannot thank you enough for your extraordinary service to Marshall University. I have appreciated greatly your wise counsel, your leadership, and dedication to your beloved alma mater. Thank you for all you've done to help advance this university. At this time, I am pleased to present Sean Hornbuckle, immediate past president of our Student Government Association, who will bring greetings from our student body. Sean?
Good morning, class of 2010 and family. Congratulations, we did it. Some of us for the first time, some of us for the second time, some of us for the third or fourth time. But all of us share this milestone today. First, I would like to extend my gratitude to the President's Office for allowing me to be on this stage with so many prestigious and highly regarded people. On behalf of the student body, I would also like to take this time to acknowledge our classmates that passed away this year, as well as our coal miners, while sending our thoughts and prayers with their loved ones. Today is the day that we close a chapter of our respective novels and start the next. I've experienced great moments and have accomplished a lot, but nothing can compare to speaking to my fellow classmates, my fellow graduates, my family today. Before today, however, Dave Wellman, who I call my personal agent from the communications department, who does a tremendous job making sure we receive emails, press releases, and so many other things, told me to keep my words 2 to 3 minutes. And well, I started to think, well, as my agent, you need to get me a better deal. I got to have more time to brag about my fellow students. But I'll try my best. If you've noticed, I keep talking about family because that's what we are. I guarantee there is somebody sitting with us today that helped you move things in your dorm or your first apartment. I guarantee somebody either helped you study or provided classroom competition to make you want to do better than them. I bet there's probably somebody here today that went with you to watch the Herd play or even to that bowl game in Detroit that we just won. You know, made sure you got home safe from a crazy night out, went home with you for Thanksgiving, or even consoled you when you were going through something. See, I talked to Mr. Joe from the bookstore not too long ago, and we started talking about us as adults, both young and old, accepting the challenge of furthering our education many miles away from home. It was that same courage, determination, and fight that allowed you to get to this point today. I have a friend named Xing. He is an MBA student, like myself, who came all the way from China wanting to be a part of our Marshall family. When he came here, his English was, well, to say the least, not that great, and he didn't understand a lot about our culture. A couple of years ago on our weekly rise to class in Charleston, we talked about him helping me in some classes, me helping him in some others, and just getting adjusted to life in wild and wonderful West Virginia. Fast forward a couple years, now our discussions are about being international business partners together and how Americans have knockoff Chinese food. We formed a friendship that will last forever, and the same goes for each of you in your own personal novels. Thank you to our entire faculty, administration, and staff, from President Kopp to the janitorial staff. I also want all of us to look in the crowd today, spot out your family, or if they're not here, call them sometime during the day, and thank our mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, your grandpa, your mama, or any loved ones or anyone that guided you along the way, because their encouragement, their sacrifices, and their nurturing ways are the reason that today is so special. I have the best mom and sister, and for that fact, my whole family and friends. I feel they're the best in the world, and I feel as if yours are half as good as mine, then you have an amazing support system. On a side note, I want to wish every single mother in here today an early Happy Mother's Day. Last but not least, as I look out and see all these beautiful ladies with their hair done, guys with their slacks pressed to the max, thank you for making Marshall, Marshall. We have nurses and doctors here today. We have teachers who will provide the best education for our children. Speech pathologists, entrepreneurs, professional athletes, and all the above. We're special, and I'm proud that I'm walking the stage with you today. Hopefully, we can get a free steak or chicken dinner out of this whole deal. And if you're a vegetarian, I encourage you to have all the tofu and veggie burgers you can handle. All jokes aside, I challenge all of us to keep pushing. The race isn't over. It just began. And when the race gets underway, it's important for us not to forget today. We have to come back to share our next chapters of our novels and give back what we took. We must remember that this race will be a marathon full of twists, turns, highs and lows, and roadblocks. We must also remember that Milton Berle once said that if opportunity doesn't knock, just build a door. And to leave you with some food for thought, which I really don't want to leave because I'm enjoying this last moment as students together before we begin alum life, I want to share a message that my mentor, Mr. Cooley, gave me 2 days ago. As a quote from a young African boy who, in his attempts to also inspire others, he said, "Do all that you can with what you have, in the time that you have, where you are." Thank you, family. God bless and go hard.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Our commencement speaker this morning grew up in Huntington, West Virginia. His father, John Calebs, was an administrator and faculty member at several different colleges, including Marshall University, where he served in an administrative capacity at the time of the 1970 plane crash. John was instrumental in making funeral arrangements for victims after the crash. He also had the terrible and unforgettable task of calling families and informing them of the demise of their loved one. Sean graduated from Huntington East High School and then attended Marshall University, where he earned his Bachelor's of Arts degree in broadcast journalism. Early in Sean's career during the 1980s, he was a reporter and anchor for local television station WSAZ Channel 3. In 1989, he began working for CNN as an environmental reporter. He joined CNN News Source in September 1998 and then worked as a general assignment correspondent for CNN based in New Orleans, followed by a 2-year stint as an anchor and correspondent for CNN Financial News. He has covered numerous momentous stories for more than 20 years from around the world, including such places as Afghanistan, Jordan, Kuwait, Cuba, Japan, China, Mexico, and Central America. He has many distinctive career highlights. Among them, after the Oklahoma City bombing, he obtained the only interview with co-conspirator Michael Fortier. He reported on the Columbia Space Shuttle explosion. He covered Hurricane Katrina and its aftermath. He was anchoring for CNN the morning Saddam Hussein was captured and was part of the team that received a Headliner Press Award for the coverage. He won an Emmy Award for coverage of Midwestern floods, and he has received a gold medal at the New York Film Festival for a special on Alaska dealing with the after effects of the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Sean, I think we can help you down there in the Gulf. We need your help down there. An inspiring and exemplary journalist, citizen, and community leader, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming home this year's commencement speaker, Mr. Sean Calebs.
Thanks very much. Somebody once told me the closest you'll ever come to perfect is your resume. Now I understand that a little better, so it's interesting. I was thinking the last time I came into this facility, it was for a Rod Stewart concert back in 1981. He was still rocking the Lycra, little page boy haircut, jumping all around. And I'm thinking now the hardest thing he drinks is probably Metamucil, orange flavored. And he sings the kind of standards that are usually reserved for Tony Bennett. But who am I to talk? I have the expanding waistline, receding hairline. This is another concession to age that I have to put on at some point, so it catches up with you. But when I come back here, I like to think that Huntington is kind of my fountain of youth. Coming back to this school, once again, I'm a gangly 18-year-old kid with the Greg Brady afro, bouncing from class to class. It's always fun to come back. And I spent my entire youth and my early adulthood dreaming about getting out of here. And now, every time I have a chance to come back, it's just a huge thrill, and I look forward to it. And I have a lot of friends over here who came in from all over, so if things get a little foolish, you can depend on those guys. My scholastic career here was somewhat checkered. I don't know if anybody's looked at my transcripts, and I certainly hope not. But in my defense, I was working full-time the last couple of years I was here, really, working at local station WSAZ. And for some reason, the news director took me from running studio camera and put me on air. And I'd never been in front of a camera before, and there's no other way to say it, I was god-awful. I mean, I was terrible. And I realized if I was going to make a career out of this business, I had to get better and get better fast. So I decided my fall semester of my junior year, I was going to take an acting class. And so I walk into the acting class in Smith Hall Auditorium. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been there. And everybody in there, by the way, was a theater major but me. They all knew each other, so I'm the outcast sitting in the back. And they pull us down on stage the first day, and the professor says, "Be a tree." And these kids start becoming weeping willows and the sycamores, and I'm standing off the side thinking, this is insane. But somewhere your competitive urges kick in. So I'm thinking, I'll show you these guys, the little acorn that becomes the oak. And I start reaching for the ceiling as well. And then I thought, I don't know, there's got to be a better way to get on air. So I decided at that time, okay, I'm going to drop this class and move on. Went back to work that week, looked at my tape the next weekend, realized I still stunk. Okay, suck it up, go back to acting. But I made a deal with myself that I would approach class in a very liberal way. I'd show up for the skits and the plays and the test, and the lectures I thought I could just skip. And I show up for my final, and the instructor's passing out the final. She gets to me and says, "What are you doing here?" And I felt like Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That dude's in my class. I know I'm in the right class. So I take the final, skip out, thinking maybe I'll get an A in the class, a B. It's certainly not going to hurt my GPA. So I get my grades a little bit later, and I look, journalism, history, acting, F. I flagged acting 101. And I'm starting to think, what in the world? So I tracked the instructor down on her Christmas break, which she loved. And I said, "Was there a problem? I got an F, is that right?" "Yeah, that's right. I had an attendance policy. You were gone after the first week." "Well, why didn't you tell me?" "Well, why didn't you pick up the syllabus?" Fine. Well, convinced I had been wronged, I set up an appointment with Dr. Dottie Johnson, former head of the speech. I don't know if any of you know her. She does not suffer fools well. So I went in to make my argument. I had the first sentence out of my mouth, and she's shaking her head no. Sean, written policy, tenured professor, you violated it, F. Sorry. So whatever. So I decided, okay, I'm going to take this one step further. So I made an appointment with Dean Gould. And why the dean even agreed to see me? So I march in, make my argument. At least he listened to the whole thing. And then he said, you know, the head of the department has backed the instructor. I'm backing the instructor. What do you want me to do? You get the F. So I stood up and said, fine, but I'm never going to come back here and speak, and I'm never going to donate money. And he looked at me like, you just flagged Acting 101. I think the walls of the institution will still be standing. But I did have some brighter times. In fact, I remember the time the light bulb went off over my head that, you know, this is serious. This is where you cut your teeth in the real world. It was an American literature class, and we were studying Emerson and Thoreau. I love self-reliance, the self-responsibility. Thoreau, Walden, I remember reading about how proud he was. I mean, he returned the axe sharper than he borrowed it. And Thoreau, a very learned man, said, it's great to read about things, but you got to get out there and experience life. And then he had that one passage that cut to my soul. He said, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I thought, I'm never going to be one of these mass. I'm going to go for the brass ring. I don't care if I go down in flames. I'm going to do everything I can to get the most out of my career. And I've been pretty lucky. But throughout my career, I've had to compete against, firstly, kids that come from, have better pedigrees. They come from the best journalism schools, Northwestern, Missouri, Syracuse. But I always felt like I held my own. And then for a few years, I worked on Wall Street, and that ratcheted up even more. These kids were Ivy League kids, Wharton Business School, Stanford. But I really believe that the foundation that I got here, the ability to study, learn, take chances, all this stuff really paid off. And I know it's going to pay off for you guys as well. So you may not realize it now, but be proud of where you're from. I can't tell you the number of times I've been places, mostly among my colleagues, and I tell them where I'm from. Very proud of being from West Virginia. I have a producer who jokes he keeps a stopwatch to see how long it takes me to work the fact that I'm from West Virginia into the conversation. And but you know, when you tell people, and you're going to hear it, you're going to get the jokes. Oh, but you have both your shoes. Do you have all your teeth? Do you have running water? Was your father a coal miner? No, but my grandfather was. He worked 50 years in the mines. He put 5 kids through college. He passed away 3 months or so after he retired, his body ravaged by black lung and heart disease. And you know, those jokes aren't funny, especially considering what happened to those miners about a month ago at Big Branch. And of course, our prayers are with those families. And I firmly believe that miners' families never get the kind of respect. No people do amazing work. But it's not just me I've heard that from. Another friend of mine from Marshall, Carl Atkins, is now general manager of the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, where the Falcons play. And he's one of a handful of people the NFL depends on every year to put on the Super Bowl. He hears the same thing. And another good friend of mine, Dr. Earl Damewood, is here today. Look, the guy talks so slowly, you can time him with a calendar. But he is a brilliant man. He's got a PhD, taught business stats here. Dr. Kim had the wisdom to hire him years ago. And I'll be honest, Earl is the father of one of my best friends. And Earl got me through math classes in high school and in college. If without that, 130 some hours of college, and I have 3 in math, just to give you an idea of how sharp I am in that field. But enjoy that. And while you climb the company ladder and people take the shots at you being from West Virginia, let it roll off your back. Just revel in it. In fact, I think frequently the people who gave me such grief are probably still working in a cubicle in New York. I think about some of the things I got to do. I was in Tikal, down in Guatemala. I got to sleep between the Temple of the Jaguar and the Temple of the Mask at night, hearing spider monkeys scream. I got to report from the Plaza of the Revolution in the heart of Havana, sit where Fidel Castro sits, delivering those endless speeches to his very captive audiences. Been to Hiroshima for the peace ceremony marking the anniversary of the first time an atomic weapon was used in a war, and to watch people of that country celebrate very somber. So Great things are coming from you. Be proud of where you're from. Never use it as a crutch or an excuse. Well, if I'd have gone somewhere else. I think you're better than that, and I know this institution is better than that. That's not to say you're not going to run into adversity, though. And overcoming adversity, again, there's things that you picked up here. You know, maybe it was cramming for a test that you didn't think you would get, but you're picking up the skills, and everybody's going to have adversity. The time it kicked me right between the eyes, I remember like it was yesterday. I just left West Virginia. I moved to a local station in Columbia, South Carolina, and I had it all planned out. You know, I was going to be, top 10 market by the time I was 27, get the networks before I was 30. I was going to cover national affairs, and I wanted to get overseas and be a war correspondent. That was the plan. And the way to do that, like any field, any of your field that you majored in, you take the jobs that are difficult. You take the jobs that people may not want to take on. And when I was in South Carolina, I remember reading one day on the wire service that an execution was coming up of an individual. And this was significant because the moratorium had just been lifted after the Supreme Court had ruled it cruel and unusual punishment. And it was important because I'm against the death penalty. I know, the stats show that overwhelming numbers of people support it. I don't. I think it's not a deterrent. I don't think it's a question man should decide, but I'm not here to debate it, just here to explain how I got to my adversity. So they marched us in like at 4 a.m. There were 4 witnesses, one for the family of the victim. It was a young couple killed on Lover's Lane, one from law enforcement, one from broadcast, one from print. So there weren't very many. They brought this guy in, and I got to know him. He was only 27 at the time he was executed. He was 17 when he committed the crime, borderline mentally retarded, degenerative brain disease, extremely remorseful. He was with 2 older people who committed the crime. A lot of reasons to commute the sentence, but the then Governor Dick Riley, who went on to be Bill Clinton's Secretary of Education, chose not to. He didn't ever want to talk about it. And in that state, it would have been very difficult to overturn the death penalty. So we go in, and the way it works, and I've never talked about this publicly, by the way. They give the electricity for a minute, stop for a minute, and give the electricity for a minute. And something happened to me in those 3 minutes. I got, for lack of a better term, traumatized. And I went through, you can imagine, I'm not going to go into details, but it was as graphic and as horrific as you can imagine. And it haunted me for a long time. And I don't mean the blues or I thought about it. I mean, I dipped into deep depression, and it manifested itself in panic attacks. And when you make a living doing live reports, panic attacks are not good things. And there are a lot of times, Chuck, like you, the only time you fail is when you give up. I thought about bagging it a number of times, finding a different career, but I stuck with it. And through the help of my family and friends, and I ended up getting counseling, and that helped to a huge degree. And I kind of righted the ship. And I want to tell you this because there's something I learned I want to pass on to you. There's a big difference between real problems and perceived problems when you're going through something like that, when you're going through the difficult times. And for you, real problem, the unemployment rate around the country, 10%, in our region, much, much worse. Real problem. Perceived problem, I'll never get a job. Of course you're going to get a job. But it may be a job, not the start of your career. But look, all's fair in looking for a job. You have to lean on the resources here at Marshall, Career Center, your professors, your graduates in the same field, your family, friends, network. Get out there and do everything you can. You get jobs through these connections. Don't be frustrated. This isn't your adversity. It's coming later. I promise you, it's coming later. But while you're out there, I'm someone who I think has taken more than he's given. I'm not proud of that. And I've tried to change a lot my last 4 years in New Orleans because I've seen the volunteers rebuild that city. The government failed them on every level, federal, state, parish, and especially the city. The city was run by the worst public servants I've ever been around in my life. But if you get out there and volunteer, you swing a hammer with Habitat on the weekend, go to a church, see what you can do to gut a house or help people. It not only helps those people in your community, but it does amazing things to you. It's great to see these faces of people working in New Orleans when it's 100 degrees, humidity is 17,000%, and they get out and do it day in and day out. It's made such an overwhelming difference down there. And I got to tell you about one of my friends who's here today. He was my producer for 2 years in New Orleans, and he came down after I'd been down there about a year. He'd missed the absolute worst of it, but it was still there. That city needed a long way to go. Eric Maripodi, he's out here somewhere, but he came into town. We gave him a tour of the areas that have been really hit hard. Lower Ninth Ward, Gentilly, Lakeview, New Orleans East, St. Bernard Parish, places that really needed to be rebuilt. On his own, he took a little HD camera down and interviewed a number of people living in the Lower Ninth Ward. And we're talking about people a year and a half after the storm living in houses with no electricity, partially gutted, drywall that was rotten, mold, mildew, and I don't have to tell you what that does to the lungs of people, especially elderly, and that's who a lot of the people were. A lot of them were African American, and all of them were poor. They didn't have any money to fix their homes. So Eric did a bunch of interviews. He put together a 15-minute film, a great film, and he made 5,000 copies, and he sent it out to churches all over the country. These churches either sent big fat checks back to the relief organizations, or they sent armies of volunteers. And they came in and did this difficult work that nobody wanted to do. So this one guy, Eric Maripodi, my 27-year-old producer, helped hundreds of homeowners in New Orleans. So you talk about the power of one. You guys can do it too. And it's something that I really think that you would feel good about. So don't underestimate giving back. Everybody's going to say, volunteer, reach for the stars, but that's a story that I want you all to remember because it can be with you just as well. But when you approach these things, I think looking at Eric, it was attitude and opportunity. Two people could look at that same situation and come away thinking, why did I get moved to New Orleans? It's a pit. There's no running water. There's no electricity. There's all these problems. And you can look at it, wow, I could really make a difference here. And a little bit about attitude and opportunity. When I was going to Afghanistan the first time, I'd been in London for about a week. And probably the most experienced photographer we have at the network flew over to meet me. His name was Dave Rust. And he's been in every war zone you can think of. He's shot on all 7 continents. But he's got this habit. He collects things. And I don't mean press credentials or little things. He collects huge things. Remember the statue of Saddam that was pulled over in the heart of Baghdad, the fighting? He's negotiating with the government to get the feet. They have the feet now at CNN's workspace. He's got the satellite dish from the Russian Revolution that was shot up in Moscow. He's got an armored car that he drove over a landmine in. Now, how do you get an armored car from the Mideast back to Atlanta, Georgia? He did it. He's got a bulletproof window that was shot out in Bosnia that he uses as a paperweight on his desk. He's got a console from a decommissioned nuclear submarine. How he gets these things is beyond me. In fact, probably the weirdest, remember baby Jessica, the little girl that fell in the well in Texas a long time ago? He has her sock. He claims no laws have ever been broken. That's good. So we're flying over there, and we're flying London, Dubai, Karachi, Islamabad. Then we had to wait in Islamabad for a UN flight to go into Kabul. You can only sip so many cocktails, watch so many movies, read so many magazines. Eventually, you have to start talking to each other. So he was reading, and I said, so what do you want to bring back from Afghanistan this time? And he'd been there scores of times. Without missing a beat, he goes, well, I'd really like to get one of President Karzai's hats. President Karzai, how? We're going to a country that's as volatile as nitro. Even if you got close to the president, he's guarded by U.S. Special Ops, not Afghan soldiers. These are the guys that dress like people from Afghanistan, the beards, the clothing. They could kill you with a straw in a heartbeat. They have automatic weapons, grenades strapped across their chest. And he just looked at me and goes, you'd be surprised. These opportunities present themselves. I thought, you're a nut. Went back to... So we were there about 10 days, and I noticed President Karzai had been on a tour of the Gulf states. And he had been mending some fences, trying to get some donations. And so he came back to Kabul, and we called to say, hey, could we chat with you? I said, yeah, come on over in a couple of hours. We can't get city councilmen to talk to us in a couple of hours. So we zip across to the presidential palace, which is a nightmare itself. City of 5 million people, not one traffic light. So imagine that. We get over there, and we set up for the interview. This is what we called a 2-camera shoot. The president sat here, I sat here. One camera behind the president shooting me, one behind me, which was Dave, shooting the president. I feel like I have long hair with this thing. But so he comes in, he says, so how do you like my country? I said, yeah, it's great. It's ruggedly beautiful. People are so committed to peace. It's amazing to, and I met this one guy, his name's Khan Mazar. He was our driver. He was 35 years old. He'd been fighting for 23 years. He looked about 60. And he said the only thing he ever wanted in his life was to never have to touch, his son to never have to touch a weapon. And then, kind of absentmindedly told him, and I've also become kind of enamored with your hat. I actually bought one in a market, a real cheap one, and I was going to give it to Dave when we left. Say, oh, you didn't get Karzai's hat, but here's this. So we do the interview. It lasts about 45 minutes or so. And at the end of the interview, we pull out, we're getting just more shots of us chatting, and I hear this rustling to my left. And I look over, and it's the president's aide with a piece of tissue paper and a hat saying, from the president's personal wardrobe. And I look back, and Dave is behind the camera, and his eyes are like bulging out. So I did the right thing. I gave the hat to Dave. But he let me borrow it today. I'll take this off for a minute. So in my world, this hat represents attitude and opportunity. So find me afterward if you want to take a picture of attitude and opportunity. And you can have this hat. Look, I know you guys, everybody went to bed early last night, so there's not a problem. But I know you want to get on and meet your... I'm really digging this. I never got to wear one of these or this. Do we get to keep these things? But I want you to understand where you are. The number of people in New Orleans that start public schools, you thought you were done with your quizzes. I have one more. The number of kids that start public schools in New Orleans, go all the way through and graduate from a four-year college. In your head, guess what that percentage is? I'll give you a couple of seconds. 7%. So you get 100 kids, bright-eyed kids, 7 of them are going to get through school. That's unconscionable. I will say they have a new Secretary of Education down there, Secretary of Schools, Paul Vallis, and some of you may have heard of him. He turned the schools around in Philadelphia, Chicago, and he's making strides down there. But man, to me and my friends, it wasn't a question of if we'd go to college, where we go to college. We just took it for granted. You're going to get these little pieces of paper down here in a while. Those are going to be something you should cling to the rest of your life. I look out and I see everybody, these young faces, these ill-fitting hats, and you got your whole life in front of you. It's going to be such a great ride, and I can only tell you, I wish I could trade places with you. I would do it in a heartbeat, do it all over again. Listen, I started quoting Thoreau. I'm going to quote from a movie that my kids and I love to watch. And I want you to have a great time today and think about this. It comes from Joe Dirt. Life is a garden, dig it. Thank you all very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Sean. At this time, we are privileged to honor Sean with a very special presentation. The John Marshall Medal for Civic Responsibility is one of the most cherished awards presented by Marshall University. It is emblematic of the civic responsibility that epitomized our namesake, the great Chief Justice John Marshall, throughout his lifetime. Marshall has been described as the definer of our nation for the constitutional decisions rendered during his long tenure as Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Individuals who exemplify the best of John Marshall's and America's traits of individual achievement and civic responsibility are acknowledged for their commitment by being awarded the John Marshall Medal for Civic Responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to bestow this most cherished medal upon our distinguished speaker and prominent alumnus, Mr. Sean Calebs. Sean? And Sean, we expect to see that on television next time you're on?
I'm never taking it off.
He's never taken it off. Good. Congratulations, Sean. Thank you. The asset which personifies one of the greatest strengths of Marshall University is the rich mosaic of high-quality faculty and staff members who work tirelessly to inspire the intellectual work and development of our students. They enrich the lives and futures of our students in many ways and have produced countless accomplishments that I have found as president both remarkable and gratifying. We are here today to honor our graduates, but we also gather here to recognize and honor the Marshall University faculty. Without their dedication and devotion to your success, this day may not have been possible. Please join me in recognizing and honoring the members of the Marshall University faculty who are with us here today. Faculty, please rise. Thank you. This time I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Camilla Brammer, Chair of the Faculty Senate, who will bring remarks on behalf of our faculty. Cam?
Thank you, Dr. Putnam. I am honored to represent the distinguished faculty of Marshall University. If you will turn to page 10 in your program, you will have the names of the people who have received awards for research and teaching this year. Please hold your applause until all the names are announced. And I'd also like to thank all of the ones who are present. There are a number of the award winners who are unable to be here today because of other commitments. Some of them are doing research in various parts of the world and country and all over the place. Others are doing fundraising for some for breast cancer research, and so they couldn't be here today, so we want to remember that. The awards for teaching and research, please stand and be recognized. The Marshall and Shirley Reynolds Outstanding Teacher Award is David Mallory, Professor of Biological Sciences. And David is, I believe, doing breast cancer fundraising today. The Charles E. Hedrick Outstanding Faculty Award, Maria Carmen Riddle, Professor of Modern Languages, was also unable to be with us today. The Distinguished Service Award goes to Michael Brookshire, Professor of Finance and Economics, Wayne Elmore, Professor of Biological Science, Tom Hankins, Professor of Information Systems, Michael Little, Professor of Biological Sciences. The Distinguished Arts and Scholars Award, Eric Blau, Associate Professor, Biological Science, and Art Stringer, Professor of English, Greg Tweetmeyer, Assistant Professor of the School of Kinesiology. The Pickens Queen Excellence in Teaching Award goes to Julio Alves, Assistant Professor of Music, Christina Franzen, Assistant Professor Classics, Jason Morissette, Assistant Professor of Political Science. John and Frances Rucker Graduate Advisor of the Year Award goes to Eric Blau, Associate Professor of Biological Sciences, and Eric Lassiter, Professor of Graduate Humanities. The Faculty Merit Foundation of West Virginia Professor of the Year is Benita Lawrence, Professor and Associate Chair of Mathematics. Will all of those honored faculty please stand? Thank you. Like our graduates, we at this time of year honor our retiring faculty who are also moving on. Collectively, they represent 396 years of service to Marshall University and to the students of this university. Retiring this year, we have Eugene Anthony, 17 years of service. Robert Bickle, 23 years of service. Madonna Combs, 26 years of service. Violet Esch, 33 years of service. Larry Jarrett, 16 years of service. Jerry Jones, 8 years of service. Wendy Moorhead, 14 years of service. Robert Nurhood, 17 years of service. Kurt Osmock, 27 years of service. Simon Perry, 48 years of service. Vernon Reichenbecker, 29 years of service. Karen Stanley, 21 years of service. Pal Toth, 42 years of service. Omema Tuma, 3 years of service. And Kay Wildman, 35 years of service. Would those individuals please rise? Thank you for all those years of service. You have influenced lives greatly, and there are lots of people out there, no doubt, still talking about the number of classes and those last finals that you may have given them. Graduates, on behalf of the faculty of Marshall University, I bid you a fond farewell, for now at least, and wish you the greatest success in your careers. Don't forget us. Keep in touch on Facebook and Twitter and all those things that my students tell me that I really need to get a life and get out more and learn how to do. So thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Cam. It's now my pleasure and privilege to introduce our Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, Dr. Gail Armiston. Gail.
Thank you. Good morning. At this time, we want to recognize those graduates who have excelled academically during their undergraduate years at Marshall. As I ask each group to stand, please join me in congratulating them. We will first recognize associate degree graduates with high honors, which is a grade point average of 3.7 to 4.0 on a 4-point scale, and those with honors, which is a grade point average of 3.3 to 3.69. Will the associate degree honor graduates please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? Thank you. At the baccalaureate level, cum laude recognizes a cumulative grade point average of 3.3 to 3.59. Will the cum laude graduates please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? Thank you. Magna cum laude honors a cumulative grade point average of 3.6 to 3.84. Will the magna cum laude graduates please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? Thank you. Finally, graduation summa cum laude is awarded students who have achieved a cumulative grade point average between 3.85 and 4.0. Will the summa cum laude graduates please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? Thank you. 15 students have completed their degree programs with a perfect 4.0 grade point average. This means they've received an A in every class they've taken at Marshall University. Their GPAs are tentative, of course, pending final grades for the spring term. After I've called their names and asked them to stand, please join me in recognizing those graduates who have recorded perfect grade point averages at Marshall. Kathleen Correll Brown of Huntington, West Virginia. Maggie Elizabeth Chenoweth of Barboursville, West Virginia. Sarah Marie Clemens of Oak Hill, West Virginia. Kayla Mae Davis of Oak Hill, Ohio. Sarah Elizabeth DeYoung of Martinsburg, West Virginia. Alicia Kathleen Hess of Hedgeville, West Virginia. Sammy Samir Hodridge of Charleston, West Virginia. Ashley Brianne Litchfield of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Sarah Catherine Moore of Akron, Ohio. Koa Dong Win of Huntington, West Virginia. Sean Gregory Pauley of Barboursville, West Virginia. Kelsey Elaine Perkins of South Point, Ohio. Rebecca Marie Ragland of Georgetown, Kentucky. Elizabeth Diane Truex of Talmadge, Ohio. And Mark Andrew Upton of Ballard, West Virginia. Please congratulate these students. Thank you. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Mary Todd, Founding Dean of the Marshall University Honors College.
Thank you. It's time to recognize those graduates who have successfully completed the requirements of the Honors College. As I ask each group to stand, please join me in congratulating them. First to be recognized are the graduates of the Society of Jaeger Scholars. Will the graduates of the Jaeger Scholars program please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? You may be seated. Will the graduates of the John Marshall Scholars Program please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? You may be seated. Will the graduates of the Irma Bird Scholars Program please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? Will the graduate in the Hedrick Scholar Program please stand to be acknowledged by the audience? Finally, will all those graduating in university honors please stand and be recognized by the audience? You may be seated. Thank you.
We are here today to honor and to award degrees to these students who have graduated successfully or completed the degree requirements as prescribed by the faculty at Marshall University. We ask that through your attentiveness, you honor them with us. The candidates of the Doctor of Education degree will be presented by Dr. Teresa Eagle.
Will the candidates for the Doctor of Education degree of the Graduate College please stand? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the Graduate College, I'm pleased to present these candidates for the Doctor of Education degree.
Thank you, Dean Eagle. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree will be presented by Dean Donna Spindell.
Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the Graduate College of Marshall University, I am pleased to present the candidates of the Doctor of Philosophy degree.
Thank you, Dean Spindell. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the Doctor of Psychology degree will be presented by Dr. Dean Spindell.
Will the candidates for the Doctor of Psychology degree of the Graduate College please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the Graduate College of Marshall University, I am pleased to present the candidates for the Doctor of Psychology degree.
Thank you, Dean Spindell. Will the candidates please be seated? Will all doctoral candidates please rise for conferral of degrees by President Kopp?
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and administration of Marshall University, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Marshall University Board of Governors and the great state of West Virginia, I hereby confer upon you the degree you have earned and to which you are entitled with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Please be seated.
Will the graduates of the Doctor of Education, the Doctor of Philosophy, and the Doctor of Psychology degrees please proceed to the stage for presentation of diplomas and academic hoods symbolic of their degrees? The Doctor of Education degrees candidates will be presented by Dr. Teresa Eagle.
Jennifer Lynn Mayo. And I am honored to invest her with her academic hood. Lisa Marie Ramsberg, to be hooded by Dr. Ron Childress. Those nurses.
The Doctor of Philosophy degree candidates will be presented by Dean Donna Spindell.
Sandeep Sudhakar Josai, to be hooded by Dr. Richard Niles. Lauren Richards Waugh, to be hooded by Dr. Gary Rankin. I will now present the hooding of the Doctor of Psychology degree candidates. Rebecca Treese Denning, to be hooded by Mariana Lintz. Ida L. Hatcher, to be hooded by Dr. Christopher LeGros. Sarah Rachel Jarvis, to be hooded by Dr. Martin Amerikaner. Conrad Jan Lucas Adkins, to be hooded by Dr. Martin Amerikaner. Tara L. Rose, to be hooded by Dr. Martin Amerikaner.
The candidates for the Master's and Educational Specialist degrees of the Graduate College will be presented by Dean Donna Spindell.
Will the candidates for the Master's and Education Specialist degrees of the Graduate College please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the Graduate College, I am pleased to present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Spindell. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidate for the bachelor's degrees of the College of Education and Human Services will be presented by Dean Rosalind Templeton.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree in the School of Kinesiology, the School of Human Development and Allied Technology, and the School of Education please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty in the College of Education and Human Services, I present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Templeton. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the bachelor's degrees of the College of Liberal Arts will be presented by Dean David Pittenger.
Will the candidates for bachelor's degrees in the College of Liberal Arts please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Liberal Arts and Marshall University, I'm pleased to present the candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Pittenger. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the Bachelor of Business Administration degree of the College of Business will be presented by Dean Chong Kim.
Will the candidate of the Bachelor of Business Administration degrees of the Lewis College of Business please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of Lewis College of Business of Marshall University, it is my indeed pleasure to present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Kim. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the bachelor's degree of the College of Science will be presented by Dean Charles Somerville.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees in the College of Science at Marshall University please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty in the College of Science at Marshall University, I am pleased to present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Somerville. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the bachelor's degree of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication will be presented by Dean Corley Dennison.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Journalism and Mass Communications of Marshall University, I am pleased to present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Dennison. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree of the College of Fine Arts will be presented by Dean Don Van Horn.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree of the College of Fine Arts please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Fine Arts of Marshall University, I'm very pleased to present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Van Horn. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the bachelor's and associate degrees of the College of Health Professions will be presented now by Dean Gretchen Oley.
Will the candidates for the degrees in Clinical Lab Sciences, Communication Disorders, Dietetics,
social work, and nursing in the College of Health Professions, please rise. Dean Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Health Professions, I'm very pleased to present these candidates for their degree.
Thank you, Dean Oley. Will the candidates please be seated? The candidates for the bachelor's degree in the College of Information Technology and Engineering will be presented by Dean Betsy Doolin.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree in the College of Information Technology and Engineering please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Information Technology and Engineering of Marshall University, I am very pleased to present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dean Doolin. Candidates may be seated. The candidates for the Regents Bachelor of Arts degrees will be presented by Associate Vice President for Outreach and Continuing Studies, Rudy Pauley.
Will the candidates for the Regents Bachelor of Arts please rise? Provost Ormiston, on behalf of the faculty of Marshall University, I am pleased to present these candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Pauley. Will the candidates please be seated? Now, may I request that the entire graduating class of May 2010 please rise. President Kopp, on behalf of the faculty of Marshall University, I have the privilege of presenting the Marshall University graduating class of May 2010. As each candidate has completed the requirements for their specific degree, I recommend that the appropriate degree be conferred.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and administration of Marshall University, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Marshall University Board of Governors and the great state of West Virginia, I hereby confer upon you the degree you have earned and to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates. You may now move your tassel from right to left. Please be seated until your college is called forward. Thank you.
We will now present the master's, bachelor's, and associate degree candidates. We ask that you honor our graduates with your attentiveness. Please hold your applause until all the graduates have been recognized. We will begin with the Graduate College and proceed in a continuous presentation from college to college without interruption. Reading the names of our graduates today are Professor Robert Bookwalter, Professor Mary Elizabeth Reynolds, Professor Judith Silver, and Professor Harlan Smith.
We will now recognize the graduates of the Graduate College, presented by Dean Donna J. Spindell. Muhammad Asfar. Justin Owens. Alexandria Bondra. Amanda Hoffman. Rachel Keaton. Kendra Nicole Small. Krista Nicole Nafito. Shea Beth Hawkins. Angela Snyder Webb. Callie Virginia Huff. Gregory A. Richmond. Supak Baird Uamglad. Tiffany Dawn Clark. Andrea Gilman. Sarah Elizabeth Holsinger. Bethany Jo Ward. Megan Dotson. Sarah Jean Kelly. Gara Williams. Job Chowady. Linyang Chen. Gary Wayne Hosey. Kwa Pham. Stacy Beck. Brian L. Collins. Sean Christopher Hornbuckle. Rosanna Hott. Sarah Brinniger. Meredith Crislip. Iyad Kadora. Mary Elizabeth Keys. Gregory Rogers. Mahmoud Al-Subu. Hesham Mezgani. Midget George Swice. Jerry R. White II. Christopher Andrews. Tembasi Makashua. Jessica Rose Weddington. Kelly Marakovitz. Matthew Hott. Andre Jones. Matthew Richard Montville. Tum Trun. Dustin Todd Fisher. Hari Adegara. James G. Vadnal. Jennifer Sue Belcher. Krista Bryson. Laura Ellen Payne. Rebecca Williams. Courtney Chatfield. Mercy Mwangi. Brandy Nicole Thomas. Brandy Kerr Hade. Michael W. Terry. Miranda Jo Toothman. Terry Lynn Harrison. Jolena Rachel Russell. Tyrone Phillips. Joni Falur. Brittany Karn. Orlando Cepeda Dowell, Jr. Barbara Phillips. Michelle Lynn Ritchie. Bobby J. Taylor. Matt Hensley. Susan Elizabeth Booton. Yvonne Asafo. Ha Nguyen. Ruth Wanyoro. Dorcas Joroge. Chuen Nguyen. Duc Ba. Emiko Hori. Yukari Suze. Tu Dam. Sen Nguyen. Ha Huang. Tum Nguyen. Linford Chubb Small. Dominique Chanel Elmore. Pallavi Samaria. Crystal Suzanne Mayville. Jonathan Clemens. Creighton J. Gerard. Melissa Maria Mintsulis. Christopher Ramey. Fei Jin. Delna D'Souza. Jamie Marie Leslie. Melinda Sue Lendon. William Arthur McDermott. Sherry Lynn Smith. Rachel Catherine Brown. Mutsumi Nobuhara. Yoko Inamori. Shuang Huang. Sharon Pitts. Amber Bentley. Catherine Donchas. Sarah Krager. Megan Jude. Alti Bhagat Aurora. Sandra Oline Frame. Danny Ray. Sharifa Mustafueva. Nigel Masaro Gulaga. David T. Bryant, Jr. John Adana Dage. Mary Beth Hampton. Janet Frazier. Melody Hudson. Jose Villamizar. Hua Chun. Amy Wilcox Connolly. Che Moore. Maria Juliana Salcedo. Nawaf Al-Gwazi. Quan Do. Rahaf Baki. Hai Do. Delia Waller.
We will now recognize the graduates of the College of Education and Human Services, presented by Dean Rosalind A. Templeton. Christopher Miles McClellan. Sherelle Uhas. Justin M. Wiggett. Channing Friend. Rachel Lee Carr. Melinda Christine Watson. Jennifer Brown. Donna Marie Wallace. Jill Nicole Spears Kitts. Sarah Catherine Moore. Maggie Elizabeth Chenoweth. Lindsay Marie McCormick. Rebecca Lee Mazzoni. Cassie Marie Adkins. Andrea Nicole Carey. Kimberly Dawn Miller. Courtney Cambria Porter. Christina Dawn Williams. Stephanie Michelle Ellis. Whitney Brianne Odell. Amanda Renee Haynes. Rhonda K. Foster. Rhonda Renee France. Eamon Alon Perry. Priscilla K. Bailey. Barbara Ann Mitchell. Sikarsky. Ashley Marie Sikarsky. Rachel Christine Coleman. Lauren Kelsey Womack. Molly Marie Cappy. Amanda Nicole Ferguson. Taylor Leslie Allen. Julianne Rose Miller. Abby Jane Stevens. Danielle K. Bray. Mark Alexander Fassetti. Julian Maurice Mitchell, Jr. Amanda K. Howell. Ashley Brooke Baylor. Sean Dillard. James E. Clark II. William Cody Bartrug. Matthew Kenneth Sparks. Ashley Elizabeth Jones. Angela Newby. Stephanie Nida. Ann Henry. Sherry Lee Vance. Tessa Wilson. Emily Diane Bailey. Josie Ann Eagle. Pierce Louise Cupshe. Kayla Marie Davis. Samantha Tippett. Heather Lane Ray. Danielle Nicole Joseph. Cassandra Irwin. Brianna Ray Burns. Alexa Marie Malinsky. Levi Jerome. Christopher Chaddock. Jenna Marie Hare. Jessica McClure. Casey Evans. Jessica Burgess. Rachel Cobb. Sarah K. Dwyer. Alex Pike. Lacey Dent. Susan Nicole Ray. Megan Walters. Betty Jo McAllister. Stephen David Vassallo. Andrew Towner. Jessica Kindred. Robert Melvin Henry. Emily Sullivan. Jonathan Z. Abbott. Joshua David Hinchman. Autumn Mitchell. Lisa Sanford. Matthew Cawley. Mark Geica. Justin Smith. Rachel Renee Hannum. Kara Branham. Mike McLeod. Brent Best. Joshua Adkins. Eileen Venechanos. Rochelle Sperlaza. Tasha Willis. Amber Dawn Kelly. Daisha Simone Groom. Lidora Monique Wapara. Brittany Morgan Cummings. Jennifer Catherine Hott. Brianna Christine Hill.
We will now recognize the graduates of the Regents Bachelor of Arts presented by Rudy Pauley, Associate Vice President for Outreach and Continuing Studies. Christopher Coleman Tucker. Shannon Kesey. Stephen Lusher. Kimberly Ann Newman. Brian Jeffrey Clark. Stephanie Hope. Richard Strode II. Monica Belcher. Daniel Chaffee. James H. Call. Brandon Lowry. Tony Thompson. Sarah Noel Johnson. Rhonda Mullins. Sean W. White. Sarah Brown. Kimberly Lynn Kirby. Amy Heather Ulrich. Twyla K. White. Gyla Ray Walburn. Josh Miller. Carlos Page. Kelly Elizabeth Gagnon. Eric William Carroll. Robert Colbank. Jamie Petrie. Carl Bradley Hager. Ashley Nicole Digert. Angela Dawn Haller. We will now recognize the graduates of the School of Journalism and Mass Communications, presented by Dean Corley F. Dennison. Molly Elizabeth Grove. Katrina Noel Harper. Ted Grant. Wade McComas. Mariah Hissam. Jennifer Dawn C. Diana Kaye. Kelsey Eberly. Whitney Ann Johnson. Andrew Temple. Kendra Melissa Shamp. Aaron Santrock. Stacy Renner. Kyle Hobstetter. Melissa Dawn Eisen. Miranda Elizabeth Rossick. Angela Marie Sundstrom. Brianna Nicole Jones. Elizabeth Ann Adams. Morgan Unger. Whitney Lee Hunter. Ellen Marie Kist. Jessica Beth Wentz. Kaylin Renee Adkins. Ashley Malie Adkins. Colin Thorne. Ryan David Bloomfield. We will now recognize the graduates of the College of Information Technology and Engineering, presented by Dean Betsy Doolin. Aaron Sammons. Andrew Ramey. Lara Miller-Neal. Mike Huckenberry. Corey Schaefer. Ben Fitzwater. Brian Lester. Caitlin E. Davis McDaniel. Andrew Copley. Thomas A. Kazad. Michael Keith Williams. Mark Upton. Patrick Brennan. Nathaniel G. Stansberry. Brenton Andrew McCuskey. Tammy Annette Bryant. Joshua Dudley. Matthew Caton. Stephen Wright. David Charles Chappell. We will now recognize the graduates of the College of Fine Arts, presented by Dean Donald Van Horn. Sherelle Nicole Uhas. Joy Nicole McComas. Melody Dawn Cook. Adam Stevenson. Katrina Elizabeth Baker. Blake Allen Hughes. Courtney Johnson. Jennifer K. Hayes. Cole Hale. Joseph Hutter. Schulten Singer. Jacob Hall. Rachel Keniston. Erica Dawn Nelson. Stephanie K. Sands. Jeremy Paul Plyber.
We will now recognize the graduates of the College of Science, presented by Dean Charles Somerville. Nicholas Daniele. Joanna Tippett. Stuart Caraway. Adam Ryan Chain. Brianna Felix. Elizabeth Marie Hernandez. Kathleen Brown. Jenna Renee Brown. Nicolette W. Miller. Benjamin Spurlock. Aaron Clark. Kyle Johnson, Sarah Page Sexton, Benjamin Cook, Aaron Stockhausen, Patrick Coons, Halima El Kawasmi, Nathan Gibson, Danielle Stevenson, Jessica Bloom, Ashley Slater, Allison Page Beck Altizer, Sarah Elizabeth Scaff, Kayla Suzanne Henson, Elizabeth Ann Endicott, Ambria Nicole Mays, Milati Gabriel, Lauren Ward, Quema Philander, Rita Janice, Michael Adams, Anthony Taparis, Lacey Michelle Davidson, Kayla Mae Davis, Summer Angeli Jasmine, Jennifer Kelly Hart, Evan Nicholas Brumfield, Tamara Byrne, Roger Scott Taylor, Edward Muth, Leah K. Brown, Jared Joseph Vitayo, Zyra Christiane McGuire, Joshua Guerin, Rebecca Hott, Lindsay Carol Serber, Brittany Haggerty, Rebecca Marie Ragland, Osti Lee Roush, Jennifer Ann Miles, Corey Andrew Keaton, Kristen Faye Lawless, Chandra Beth Thompson, Haley Danielle Ross, Carissa Michelle Elkins, Christina Ann Wagner, Gregory Sean Sammons, Alice Ianu Ulawa Solademi, Jana Jolynn Rice, Nathan Carroll, Charles Brewer, John Michael Gibson. Derek Powell. Joshua William Adams. Stuart Cole Shannon. We will now recognize the graduates of the College of Health Professions, presented by Dean Gretchen E. Oley. Heidi Starcher. Christopher Woods. Ashley N. Shamblin. Brittany Ann Sanders. Molly Lynn Young. Holly Lynn Withrow. Lauren Anderson. Caitlin Lowe. Brittany Nicole Adkins. Jessica D. Burton. Kayla D. Perry. Andrew C. Tufts. Lindsay Devon Bowles. Danielle Martin. Rebecca E. Thomas. Marissa Muthina. Margot Bertolotti. Cassie Renee Shank. Carrie Dale Graham. Courtney Marie Bailey. Catherine Grace Shelton. Sarah Jo Lehue. Andrea D. Bailey. Sarah Elizabeth Marie Moore. Ashley Nicole Blankenship. Megan Nicole McFarland. Amanda Wright. Molly Marie Akers Steele. Caitlin Bartow. Whitney Elizabeth Fields. Kendra Lee Lloyd. Ryan Souders. Anthony Paetzel. John Lee Miller. Katie B. Gibson. Tyler Ray Jordan. Jody Camp. Isadora McCarty. Megan McLean. Gina Dengen. Tabitha Bowman. Amanda Schuler. Irina Walker. Nicholas Stahlnecker. Megan Marquetta Sidler. Brandy Lynn Johnson. Rachel Lawson. Amelia Gerald Fry. Sarah Meese. Allison Page Cook. Erin Carey. Cassie Watts. Jessica McKee. Wendy Carter. Bethany Phillips. Sarah Clemens. Brittany Cook. Shannon Smith. Jenna Rollins. Ashley Ann Plumley. Megan Sparks. Kayla Schultz. Jenny Johnson. Stephanie Garrett. Amber Jones. Derek Moore. Julie A. Rutledge. Heather Gibson. From the Department of Social Work, Mary Elizabeth Sloan. Janice Waters. Dominic McCormick.
We will now recognize the graduates of the College of Liberal Arts, presented by Dean David Pittenger. Adam Jenkins. Heather Bumgarner. Katie Bayou. Justin Pennell. Sherelle Cobbs. Sharday Jarvis. Wing Tran. Bradford William Greba. Megan Stafford. Matthew Caldwell. Mark McKee. Cameron McMahon Ashley. Tyler Evans. Christopher Stanley. Daniel Elkins. Sean Pauley. Carrie Alita Rote. Anna Jones. Emily Nicole Rowe. Matthew Scott Broughton. Brittany Balcom. Jonathan Phillips. Lauren Ashcraft. Courtney Quick. Tana Sue Stevens. Brittany Angelica Davis. Brandon Vincent Van Ness. Danielle Ford. Bethany Yoakum. Kelly Rodriguez. Drew T. Stallings. Chad Piles. Peter Zasowski. Brittany Davies. Candace Michael. Alicia Noel Bolyard. Jonathan Daniels. Josh Pearson. Julie Cook. Josephine Peters. Tabitha Lynette Sloan. Suzanne Kaplinger. Erica McComas. Derek Hartman. Joshua Lynn Curry. James Aaron Johnson. Denathan E. G. Robinson. Patricia Usciano. Hayes Patrick Strader. Joshua Kane McMillian. Jared Dudley. Mary Catherine Oliver. Heather Gaynor. Justin Guerin. Nathaniel Monroe Hensley. Elena Reveal. Joshua A. Rader. Kelly Renee Kearns. Myra Dahl. Raymond Conrad. Aaron Harris. Kendra Ann Kosum. Keith Peck. Krista Thompson. Emily P. Colas. Ashley Elizabeth Bishop. Caitlin Elizabeth Miller. Retha Collins. Samantha Nicole Fox. Stephen Jacob Wolowinski. Matthew David Sowards. Andrew Marshall Dobbs. Melissa Lou Pleasance. Mallory Brooke Hensley. Christopher David Orndorff. Krista Murch. Joshua Sutherland. Katie Scarlett Long. Candace Phillips. Angela Cummings. Laura Nicole Fields. Michael Aaron Ryan. Amanda P. Fannin. William March. Angelica Lauren Collins. Jason Thomas Fisher. Sarah Rochelle Fauch. Allison Crislip. Dawn Nolan. Carrie L. Derenberger. Kaylee R. Smith. Caitlin Twisdale. Jessica Green. Matthew Dustin Matney. Tiffany Egner. Kylie Yvette Yater. Freddie J. Wooten. Kristen Jane Cookson. Jordan Farmer. Timothy Ward. Catherine Willa Staley. Amanda Dillon. Rachel Nicole Huff. Lauren Hutchins. Kelsey Perkins. Vanessa Nicole Rogers. Julia Woods. Sheridan Roush. Rachel Scarberry. James Bryce Justice. Tyler Burns. David S. Robinson. Adriana Maynard. Leslie Browning. Greg Berner. Rebecca Ellen Childers. Austin Matthew Bunch. Jessica Marie Barris. Sarah DeYoung.
We will now recognize the graduates of the Lewis College of Business, presented by Dean Chong W. Kim. Casey Sue Ray. Christopher Lowe. Jr. Jimmy Lee Rogers, Jr. Brandon Campbell. Dustin Cutlip. Shane Thomas Stafford. Latricia A. Jones. Courtney Edmondson. Daryl V. Wingate. Angelica Harris. Brian Hammer. Jason C. Tara Lynn Ballard. Lacey J. Bittinger. Amelia Richards. Brian Bain. Jordan Clay. Michelle Evans. Drew Lewis. Michael Joseph Coster. Tyler Schick. Devin King. Stacy Klein. Desiree Dorsch. Isabel Reich. Thadia Locke. Robert Lee Johnson. Kevin Philip Webb. Charles Peach. Brian Peach. Chae Park. Stephanie L. Snodgrass. Keith Carroll. Grant Grishhaber. Alex Gothrop. Marshall Wayne Bowling. Larissa Hillary Lynch. Miranda Mullins. Elizabeth Diane Truex. Alicia Kathleen Hess. Carla Ramirez. Kevin Wynn. Natalie Thorpe. Brittany Hardy. Amanda Ross. Kelly Lynn Parler. Shayna White. Holly Steed. Keith Bradley. Michael Nellis. Alvin Seal. Ferris Arabi. Christopher Sexton. Elliot Boyd. Matthew Hale. Bradley Roberts. Chelsea Rutherford. Evan Chiaranzelli. Kyle Andrew DeLong. James Joseph DeMarco, Jr. Kristen Johnson. Brandon Wilson. Justin Evans. Stephanie Wrigley. Amanda Ann Cummings. Caitlin Dryden. Amy Ashworth. Felicia Crutcher. Christopher Lutz.
Would you please join me in congratulating our graduates one more time? Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Nancy Campbell, President of the Marshall University Alumni Association. She will bring greetings from the Alumni Association.
You know, I like to think back and think it was just a few years ago that I sat in a chair in this facility and became a graduate of Marshall University. In honesty, it was more than 30 years ago now, but I still have very strong memories of this day and of my time here at Marshall University. When I come back to this university with my friends for alumni events, those memories become very fresh and clear in my mind. I hope that you do not lose those memories as you leave here today. The Marshall University Alumni Association is your link to this university. Staying involved with the Marshall University Alumni Association means you're staying involved with Marshall University. So I encourage each of you to become strong members of our Alumni Association. I want to wish you all the success that you each deserve in this new phase of your life. Don't lose what you have started here. It is a very special university and a very special experience that you've had. As National President, I would like to welcome you as members of the Marshall University Alumni Association and wish you all of the luck in your future, and I expect to see each and every one of you at an alumni event in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. To all of our graduates, my commendations. You began a journey some 4 years ago to earn your college education and degree, or an advanced degree. Today culminates that experience, that journey, and I congratulate you for finishing what you started. Your journey ends today for many of you with Marshall University, but another journey is right around the corner that begins shortly after this commencement exercise. A college education is earned through resilient, determined application of your intellectual abilities and your willingness to stretch yourselves into domains of thinking and learning that are new and different. Each member of the class of 2010 found it within him or herself to mount the courage, the resiliency, and self-confidence to discover and act on the incredible potential you possess. By earning your college degree, you join a very select subpopulation of our society. When humankind possesses the science to redesign the human genome, it has the capacity, the power, if you will, to redesign the planet. Humankind is thus empowered to create change and mold whatever reality and future it so chooses. Each of you graduates intrinsically possesses that power as well. You may not know it yet, and you may not yet be aware of it, but you do. For each of you, the future is something you do, something you design. It is not something that just happens. In this regard, it's important to distinguish the high probability future, the future that most likely will manifest if nothing changes, versus the highly preferable future, the one you create. Each of you is empowered with that intrinsic native ability to define your future and determine what that future will be. Remember, success is never final and failure is never fatal. It's the courage to try that often matters most. Remember that no job is beneath you. Experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted. It's often the most valuable calling card you will have to offer. Take time to count your blessings. They are all around you each and every day. Use your time to fulfill the promise of a better future. Make this world a better place for those who follow in your footsteps, and write your legacy into the annals of We Are Marshall. God bless you all, and thank you. Please rise now and join Justin Wiggett in the singing of the Marshall University alma mater. The words are printed inside the front cover of the program. After singing, please be seated until the platform party and the faculty have recessed. Thank you all. Thank you all for your attention here today.